Hello, people. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another episode of All You Can Eat Chelsea. Baba will be here soon, but joined by the cast and crew. Miz, welcome back into the building, brother. How are you doing today? The other side of the coin. Come on.
Good to be here on a live. I didn't know it was a live until I saw the Instagram message telling me it's alive. So it's great that it is alive. It's good to get all the interaction. But yeah, bro. What can I say, man? I'm deflated. I'm depressed, disappointed, just sad to see our football club play the way we do. It's just really, really sad. It's like bottom tier football, man. It's not nice.
Younes, brother, talk to me. Welcome back. How are you feeling, bro? How are you feeling? I mean,
yes,
at least you were the first. You were the first to want this man gone. He's gone now. So you must have had a great weekend, bro. The relief.
Oh, I felt amazing. Well, it felt amazing. In its own bubble, yes. Obviously, we don't want to be in the situation. No one wants to do this, right? It's just not ideal. But what needed to be done finally got done. And in the long run that it's been going on for, I'm just glad it's over. But yeah, we got to just end the season now, man. This is just painful. Like at this point, it's not just the fact that there's manager issues and there's all of that, but now we're talking about we can't even finish our dinner, and it's just, man, we just got to end the season. I just want it done.
Bro, do you know what it is? Yeah, it's if you was to take this, and big up to everybody in the chat. We'll be going through all of your comments as well. Big up everybody. Lots of love in the chat. Thought I'd surprise you with a live in prime time, do you know what I'm saying? Lateness is greatness and all that. And we'll be talking about the manager options and Nagelsmann and Enrique. I'm going to run polls and we're going to discuss all the options in great detail. But to recap a little bit on what happened yesterday, just a little bit. If you were to say in a season that you took 2 points from Liverpool in 2 Premier League games, it's not what you ideally would have aimed for, but it wouldn't be a disgrace, would it? If you were to say that you take 2 draws from Liverpool, title contenders usually, one of the best teams in Europe. If you were to take 2 points from Liverpool, a draw in both games, you would say, okay, fair. Like we drew both of the games in the cup finals, lost on penalties. They were quite prideful performances. Like, we should have won at least one of them. With the Lukaku offside goal wrongfully ruled out. But, prideful performances. These 2 draws against Liverpool, there's no pride in them at any moment did I feel any sort of pride, any sort of accomplishment, any sort of... there was no pleasure in watching either of the 2 games. Both games, they didn't want to broadcast. Both games, I didn't even do a preview for the last one. I didn't get any time. And I don't regret it because the way that the games transpired, we should have whooped them. Any half-decent team, a Brighton, would have slapped them silly in both games. Both games, I walked away thinking, how on earth did we not beat this Liverpool team? And they must be sitting there thinking, I mean, how did we not beat this Chelsea team? But we were actually the better team in both games, I think. We didn't take our chances. And this time it was a second-string Liverpool team, so it makes it even worse, Miz.
Bro, when I saw that Liverpool lineup, I was like, we can't beat this team. We won't be able to beat anyone. Now I understand why we can't beat Everton and Southampton, because that Liverpool team was worse than all of that. That was a championship level team, to be honest. No Salah, no Robertson, no Trent Alexander-Arnold, no Van Dijk. And a lot of their players were in their twilight of their career. Firmino, Henderson at the end was fighting with Alisson. Like, it was someone commented so aptly on my video saying it was a match between a team without a manager and a manager without a team. So you've got Klopp, who's the manager who doesn't have a team, and then you've got Chelsea, who's got the team, doesn't have a manager. And I think that's what it all came down to. But you're right, Matisse. I agree with you. 2 matches, we probably deserve to beat them, but we can't we can't score. That seems to be that has been our issue for a very long time now. Ever since even when Thomas Tuchel took over from Frank Lampard, even in the Champions League, winning run, we had such a high XG. Like, we didn't put, even though we played so well, we went through to the final, we won the final, but we we should have smoked a lot of those teams. We really should have smoked them, and we didn't. Then the following season, last season, same thing. Can't score goals for our life. Do you know what I mean? If our life depended on it,
Yeah.
I think we all are dead. We're all dead.
Yeah.
Like if I actually told one of these players, my life depends on this goal, you're coming to my funeral. Straight up. I'm dead.
It's true.
So, and then again, this season, the same thing. So what can you say, man? I mean, how many goals did we score? Like 26 for the season? It's like one of the lowest or something.
What, so far?
So far, this season.
I don't know, 8?
Eight.
Are you talking about just in the Premier League?
Premier League. I think it's
Premier
about
League.
like 20.
Sorry, I've just
20
got to open up the table a little bit here. Hold on, it's going to take me a while.
I think it's like
29.
Yeah,
29,
29 goals.
okay.
29 goals scored, 30 goals conceded, -1 goal difference. We are so 11th. We are so 11th. Yeah. This is not false. This table does not lie. We are so 11th. We play like we're 11th. We act like we're 11th. We shoot like we're 11th. We do everything in our power to be exactly what we are, which is 11th. It's of no mistake. Big up Bubba in the building.
I was going to say, in terms of goals scored, we're actually 12th.
Oh,
so it makes sense. It makes sense.
we're overachieving. We're overachieving.
Yeah.
I guess if I'm to put anything positive on it, I say Bruno maybe came out of the game looking okay. I don't know. It's his first game he's ever managed, but he basically did similar to what Potter did, apart from going 3-5-2, giving an extra midfielder. Brought Gallagher on. Gallagher's cameo was a joke. Absolute joke of a cameo. I don't know how many more times I have to say it with this guy. He's not technically good enough to play for this football club. The work rate is commendable, but my goodness, this guy just can't trap a ball. I don't know how Mason Mount's not getting on ahead of him.
Coming on. Like,
I don't know
2 games in a row.
It feels political that Mason Mount's not coming on before Gallagher, because I've said it time again. People might compare them, but Mason Mount is clear of him as a player. Like he's shown it already at the top level. So I don't actually understand how Mount's not coming on before Gallagher. When we need a goal, Mount scores more goals than him for us in at this level, trajectory-wise, what we saw in past seasons. Obviously, Gallagher's come from lower league teams, and he's a better player than them. So I don't understand why Gallagher keeps coming on as the first sub.
At least off the bench, Mason Mount, like I've always said, at least off the bench, he's an option.
Yeah,
he's definitely, most likely he's gone. I think he's gone.
I think him. I don't know what you think about this, Younes, but I think, and I come to Bubba after, I feel like Mason Mount clapping the fans at the end is very also political. Like, cool, yes. Everybody wants to come together and be like, oh, Mason Mount, he gets it, and he keeps clapping at the end of games, and we love him, and give him the new contract, and that's exactly what he wants you to do, because he's going up against the board. He's going up against the board for a new contract, and it's very political of him to come out and clap. And I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying there's a reason he's doing it. He's not doing it because he loves everyone. He's doing it because he's trying to get the fans on his side up against the board with these contract negotiations. He already had the fans on his side in the ground anyway. But if he was a leader, and this is where you need to not try and pretend that this is leadership. If he was a leader, he would force everybody else to come out and clap as well. He's not interested in anybody else clapping. He's just interested in making sure he claps. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I don't really give a shit who claps, to be honest. I don't really care. You guys are playing like dog shit. I don't need your claps. But it's political. It's definitely a political move from him. It's very clever. I respect it, actually, to be honest. But it's very clever. Yeah. I don't know what you made of it.
Yeah, but you nailed it to a T, because I saw when that happened that there was quite a lot of people coming on socials going, Mason, he's clapping. Yes, oh no, what a lad. Yeah, no, and I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. But come on, don't be naive.
Yeah, don't be
like,
stupid.
Come on, to think that there's not a strategy behind that. You know, of course, he wants to try and get the entire fan base on side to try and force Chelsea's hand. Yeah. That's the only route that's left, basically, for him to get what he's actually asking for. Yeah. So completely. But look, as I've said, I've already come to terms. He's gone. Yeah. This is also a part of the reason why he's not playing. If we're looking in terms of actually how we're set up and how we're playing, right, the only role that he can come into is a front three. Right, which is where I was looking at it and going, okay, maybe it's a bit difficult to actually play Mason Mount when you've got players like Sterling, or you want to try and make Mudryk work, or because there's no other place on the pitch except for a double pivot that he's actually going to come on and play. Now, yesterday, there were 3 midfielders, so you could argue we could technically have 2 8s in that 3-5-2, but later on, we did switch up the formation. So that's where I look and I go, okay, it's still a little bit, maybe it's a bit difficult to bring on Mace, as much as it's definitely warranted, because we got to try and get a goal from somewhere. And if it's not coming when we're playing Mason, when we're not playing Mason, when we're playing the landlady, the cleaner, I don't know at this point, right? Then it just makes sense to probably just keep trying all sorts of things, and maybe bringing on Mason would have helped. But I genuinely think he's not playing because of his contract situation. He's being kept away because of that. Simple as that. Yeah. And I don't think he will play much up until he does go, because I think it's done. He is going to go. I've already come to terms with it. So
I understand this logic as well of people. They say give Mason more time, considering the fact that he's actually been performing to a proper level for most of his Chelsea career, if not up until this last 12 months or the last season, right? And Baba, I mean, bro, what was your takeaway from that match, bro? Because we had a new interim in charge, and we're going to get to the breaking news in just a minute, people. Don't worry, I have it up on the screen. I haven't forgotten about it. We have an interim in charge. We have some really strong performance from Kante, which is not really a surprise. This is what Kante does. He comes back in, drops a masterclass, leaves. Brilliant performance from him. Fofana really strong. Again, a shame that Badiashile doesn't start for me, but it is what it is. I don't understand why he's been taken out the team so quickly when he's been so good. But we had some good performances in the back part of the team. But again, going forward, Felix, big chances missed. Havertz, big chances missed. Talk to me, bro. What are you thinking? Because a lot of people are asking as well on this channel in particular. Talk about Felix. We know Kai's having a stinker. This is what we've come to expect. But Felix, what's your feelings on it?
Last night was like 2 school teams going at it. It was not even like a championship standard game. It was like 2 school teams, 2 Sunday league teams going at it, to be honest. And I wrote it in the group chat also that I feel contaminated watching that game. I need to go and take a bath right now. That was the level of the game yesterday. I mean, this team is in absolute shambles right now. I don't know if anything is going to change for the rest of the season. Like before I was listening to you guys, you were saying that we shoot like 11th, we are playing like 11th. I don't know if we are playing like relegation fodder, to be honest. If it weren't for Tuchel, we would be in a relegation scrap right now. Those 10, 12 points that we got at the start of the season, it was because of him. I don't understand some of the decisions. People here at home all of them are comparing me with the new manager, because me and him look the same, the interim guy. So they were like, Drogbaba, why are you making these changes? Why Cucurella in the back three and all of that thing? All of
Bruno Baba.
So that's the funny thing. But yeah, I think we created enough yesterday to win 2 football matches. But I think the world will come to an end. These players think that the world will come to an end if we score a goal, or something will happen. A nuclear bomb will go off somewhere. I don't know what's the issue.
No, in our luck, it probably will.
I mean, we can't finish easy chances. Some of the decisions, like throwing Aubameyang out of the squad, was the manager's decision. And you don't have a proper striker. We are stuck with Havertz. We have no option but to make him play 90 minutes. I mean, what sort of squad planning is that? I don't really get it. Mount, we have discussed, but if he's being frozen out of the squad, then at least give Chukwuemeka a chance. He's been impressive whenever he's come on. At least showed something. Gallagher, no matter what, I think he's Thanos. He's inevitable. Whatever happens, he'll come onto the field. So these decisions I don't really get, and to be honest, I don't blame that man, the interim manager. So I mean, this is going to be this season. I believe we'll finish 9th or 10th at max.
Yeah.
And Champions League, we are getting battered against Real Madrid. There are no two ways about it, because the owners are taking their time with the appointment, which I think is fair, because you don't want to make the same mistake again. But next season, you have to make sure that you appoint the right man and you go for the title, not even a top 4 scrap. You have to go for the title. and that's the only way we are going to write this season off. Because 2-3 seasons without European football, that is not just Chelsea. That is just not Chelsea.
I think where do I start with this? I mean, to segue into Bruno a little bit, does yesterday's performance make you less or more comfortable with him staying for a few more games, or do you guys want a new manager as soon as possible? And the second part of that question would be, say a Nagelsmann or an Enrique who is currently in London, right? So I guess that rules him out of wanting to wait till the summer. Enrique, breaking news, is currently in London, making the move, hopefully, maybe to Chelsea. Obviously, Nagelsmann is still in the picture. This is Fabrizio's last tweet. I'll just read it out in full. Enrique's arrived in London with a representative in order to discuss with Chelsea. Can confirm he's in England right now. Enrique 100% keen on the Chelsea job. Chelsea also still continues to talk with Nagelsmann, the favourite candidate. It is clearly these two up against each other for the job. I think the likes of Poch and the likes of, all of these guys are second options. They're all kind of in the second category, second tier. They said that they wanted to interview 6-7 people, but I do believe that these are the two clearly they want to interview the most, or they want to speak to the most. They're the front runners. So I guess, is it just for you, Miz, maybe get it done as soon as possible? Or do you want them to take their time over who they pick between Nagelsmann and Enrique? Because they are two very, very, very different managers, I think. Obviously, they both want to play the right way, but Nagelsmann and Enrique couldn't be more different, in my opinion, in terms of the way that they approach things. And in terms of my confidence levels of who will take it, which I'll get to in a minute. But what about you? Are you desperate for someone right now?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, thank you to Bruno Fernandes for looking after us. I call him Bruno Fernandes. I remember Bruno's household, so I call him Bruno Fernandes. Much easier to remember that name.
Does he miss penalties in training? Oh.
Probably does. More than you can believe. I thank him, but look, let's be honest. I don't think he's really managing anything. I think the players are just, obviously he'll sit down with the players and then ask them, what's comfortable, how you want to approach all of these things, and then he'll go out there and do it. He's not. I don't think he's the one who's really running the shots here. And I'd be very surprised. Like if the players weren't even listening to Graham Potter, come on, they're listening to Bruno Fernandes. No way they're going to be listening to him. So he's just the figurehead for the timing. So I need a manager to come in immediately. Mm-hmm. This whole thing about, and I addressed this on my live yesterday, that waiting and being cautious doesn't necessarily always mean that you're going to still make the right decision. And then consequently, being quick and making a decision doesn't necessarily also mean that you're going to make the wrong decision. It's all about making the right decision. Time factor should not be a problem here. And if Chelsea owners and the board have only recently started thinking about that this situation could have happened, then that's bad on them. They should have known from Southampton that something like this could potentially happen. Let's start doing our homework right from now as to who the next Chelsea manager should be. If they only woke up after the Aston Villa game, oh my God, we didn't know it was going to be like this with Potter. That, like, everyone knew, brother. Everyone knew that this was eventually happening in this sense. So for me, Matisse, I need a manager, man. I need a manager ASAP. I would like a manager before Wolves so that the new manager can get a game under his belt with the new team and give us some sort of a fighting opportunity, because this team is lacking a figurehead. It's lacking
direction, isn't it?
It's lacking direction. They're just there now. Like, they're just moving with the wind and passing time. They need someone to guide them, man. They need someone genuine. And I said it once again in my live yesterday that I do not want the next manager to be someone that the players Google. I do not want the next manager to be bantered by the players when he looks away. I need the next manager to be the number one figurehead at Chelsea Football Club, bigger than all the players, bigger than all the players. So when that gaffer walks into the training ground, the players know to shut their mouth and train hard. These players have finally got their wish. because I didn't buy any of those PR that the vibe is great, it's all hunky dory.
You think that was coming from the ownership?
Maybe. I think the real truth, which I've always believed for a very, very long time, was that these players never accepted and never respected Graham Potter. I think that is the bottom truth. And that is what is getting trickled out right now. I want these players to enjoy your moment now, because you had that gaffer gone. He's gone. Graham Potter's gone. Next one, he will not be gone. You're going to be gone. Enough. You better start buckling down and start getting some performances for the fans, man. Enough is enough, honestly.
This super chat says Enrique is literally in London right now to discuss the Chelsea job. Yet it's supposedly on holiday. Nagelsmann, yet supposedly on holiday. Shows who really wants the job. But like both, Enrique's pushing. He's definitely pushing. This is coming. In of terms of season on all aspects. This is the coming of terms of the season. Luis Enrique is in London to talk with the owners. Indeed, he is. Why does no one talk about Cover's tendency to flirt with danger around the outside of our box and the horrendous shooting in the other half? I mean, everybody knows he can't shoot, to be honest. That's just fact. Nagelsmann is like a clock 2.0. Don't know if I'm guessing that's a compliment. Did the mentality monster get sacked yet? Another question there.
Yeah, what happened to that guy? What's going on? Where is he?
Where is he? So everyone told me, Miz, you're being very negative. This
Honestly.
That guy ran. That
guy saw what was going on. He's like, yo, I'm out. And he's gone. Back to Heathrow. I'm going back to New Zealand. Screw you guys. You're all crap. He's just gone home.
He came in and we never heard about him ever again. But anyway, that's not really surprising. Younes, let me ask you, who do you prefer? Nagelsmann or Enrique?
Or Luis Enrique?
Yeah.
I agree with Miz, right? Look,
I know Miz wants Enrique. Yeah, I know Miz wants Enrique.
No, this is the thing. We need, and Miz might be able to convince us or me or whatever. But we do need someone that's going to come in and command respect. Someone that the players are going to look at and go, if immediately without saying a word, okay, this guy's serious. Like, and someone that's going to keep the players on their toes, however they're feeling, right? Nagelsmann, I think, does have that. The one thing that I did see is that there was concerns in regards to his age. He might be too young, right? And as much as I think he is a good manager, you can't, ignore the fact that that could play a factor. Thiago Silva is older than him. Do you know what I mean? Like and I'm not saying Thiago Silva would do anything against him like much we've seen players do things against AVB, if you remember. But I genuinely think Thiago Silva would be completely professional. But it's a point. If players have a manager that's within their age bracket or not far, it's not going to be the same sort of respect that they give to someone who's a little bit elder and someone who's going to be, coming with experience that they can fall back on. So I need to know with Luis Enrique if he's going to be commanding enough, if he's going to be, authoritarian enough to be able to dictate that dressing room and keep hold of it, even when it does seem like it's going to go a little bit left with some players, that he's going to hold it together and put them in their places and show you exactly what they need to do. As well as that, from a footballing perspective, coach them to be at a level that we really need to be at. So I need to know if Enrique actually has that personality and that character, because with Enrique, there is the whole stigma of he had that Barca team. He had MSN, right? And I don't want to say there shouldn't be credit given, because it's not easy to win every single trophy that's possible, no matter who you have. But if you did need the most perfect team possible, that was it. So to just fall back on that is what's causing me a little bit of I'm not so sure. So I don't know. Miz, if you're advocating for Luis Enrique, please convince me.
I mean, before you do, right, I just want to let the viewers know where everybody started off, right? I controversially on the Big Six put Poch's name in the ring. I think Poch is very disrespected. But he's clearly in the second tier. I put it on Twitter just to gauge the reaction. It was exactly how I expected. I do believe if he didn't have a Spurs badge on his CV and it was saying a different badge with the same performance, I think he would get a lot more love on that side of things. But I went with him. Younes went with Jose Mourinho, and Baba had Diego Simeone.
We went full shithouse.
Yeah. And Miz has always had Enrique, right? Enrique. Now Nagelsmann's come to the table because obviously Thomas Tuchel's gone to Bayern Munich. And funnily enough, it sounded like Thomas Tuchel kind of was annoyed that by the time he had taken the Bayern job, the Chelsea job then a couple of weeks later became available. Even though it's the same ownership that he disagreed with, he still seemed like as if he could have maybe wanted to go again. So it was very, very sad to hear. But Baba, I think you were saying in the group chat, you're not too sure on Enrique, right? So just before Miz lays on the propaganda, I just want to get what your thoughts are on Enrique.
I think if you look at Enrique teams, he has always had these players who are very technical on the ball, who are very good passers, who are very assured in possession. I think we have signed too many direct players. I think this team, the crop of players that we have is much more suited to Nagelsmann. I think Nagelsmann will adapt more quickly than Enrique with this team. And Enrique would want Unai Simon, first of all, as his goalkeeper. Kepa is out because he likes to build from the back. He likes to do those 1,000 passes per game. See, I have no problem at all with both of them coming in. It's just that the adaptability of the things. Like, I think with Nagelsmann, we can hit the ground running. I think if you look at his setup in Leipzig, if you look at his setup in Bayern Munich, we have those players. I think with 1 or 2 signings, I think Nagelsmann will be there. But for Enrique, I think we will have to make more adjustments. That is what my reservations are with him. But if he's in London, he is convincing the owners. My problem is with Chelsea right now is like owners want Enrique and Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart and Vivell want Nagelsmann. So why is
why are we not listening to the people that we've just hired as technical and sporting directors?
Yeah, I mean, owners who don't know anything about football, right? They are from the US. I mean, this is their first time doing anything with European football. Like, how can you make a decision regarding a manager who has had experience with big clubs like Bayern Munich recently, just because he is not old enough? I mean, I don't get that reason. It's all good that you are being extra careful while making your decision to get the right man. But see, this is what makes me a bit fidgety about these appointments, like the split between the technical directors and the owners.
Yeah, because it seems like even though they've hired them, they still want to have a say and they want to have control over who they get, which kind of defeats the purpose of hiring them in the first place. And especially after they got the last situation horribly wrong. I've got concerns over both managers, to be honest. I think none of the options are perfect. I don't think any of the options are better than the person we sacked in September. But Miz, I have to ask you with Enrique, he hasn't been managing a club for 6 years. And it does feel like what he wants to do, which is, I think, in his favor, is very specific. You know exactly what you're going to get from him. He's going to be stubborn. He wants to play his way or no way. And I think the players probably do need that direction and they need those principles of positional play to be, put forward. But are you concerned that he hasn't managed a club for 6 years and that is probably maybe going to need I don't know. Do you feel he's going to need more transfers than, say, a Nagelsmann in terms of recruitment?
I mean, look, there's always going to be some level of concerns with any manager, anyone. No, I don't think anyone is absolutely perfect unless you get Pep Guardiola. Even Klopp would have some level of concern. So that we can't sit here and go, we'll just wait for the most perfect manager. I don't think there is anyone at the moment that is the most perfect manager. In terms of, am I concerned that he hasn't, managed a football club for a while? I mean, it's like saying, if you don't swim or if you don't drive for a while, do you forget driving? Do you forget swimming? He's not absolutely out of touch. Like he's been part of the Spanish setup. And then, yes, international football, you don't get to get that much exposure, but still he's not out of touch completely altogether with football. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not totally worried that this man has all of a sudden forgotten how to manage. I don't think that's the case. In terms of why I like him, I think if you look at some of the top tier managers, right? So you've got your Pep, you got Klopp, you got Thomas Tuchel. I think right after that, Luis Enrique is probably just a step after them in terms of respect, in terms of some of these players, boys, I kid you not. Like, I'm pretty sure Younes probably remembers this, and even Baba might be a little bit too early for you, Matisse, or maybe you might have. Like, us boys, we saw Luis Enrique play. Like, I'm sure
Yeah,
you've seen Luis Enrique play. I remember watching Luis Enrique play for Barcelona. I'm pretty sure Baba remembers as well. So similarly for these players, I think some of them would have watched as youngsters Luis Enrique play. So that's that straight away, that respect, right? This guy has won stuff as a player as well. Secondly, people downplay the whole Barcelona situation. They go, oh, but what did he do in Celta Vigo? What did he do in Roma? Name me one manager that has done with lower level teams and upper level teams in the current modern management situation. Besides Jose Mourinho, I can't really think of anyone else. Jose has done it with Porto. Jose has done it with Chelsea. Jose has done it with Inter Milan. But tell me any other manager right now that is operating that has done it with a lower team and a higher team. So this whole concept about, but what did he do with Celta Vigo? What did he do with Roma? Mate, how about you just focus on what did he do with Barcelona? That just tells you with good players, he can do good stuff. Chelsea's got good players. Chelsea's not a Roma back then. Chelsea's not a Celta Vigo back then. I'm not saying Chelsea's Barcelona level, but it's a good level. We've got good quality players. You can have a manager that is tactically apt. Like Nagelsmann, I believe tactically is probably a little bit better than Luis Enrique. But that tactics will be no good if you don't get the buy-in from the players. Now, I'm not saying Nagelsmann may not get the buy-in. I'm just saying that there could be a sense that these players, once again, after a little while, may not have the same level of respect. With Luis Enrique, when this manager walks in and some of these players go, do you know what? He managed for 3 seasons Messi, Neymar, Suarez, Iniesta, Xavi, Pedro, Dani Alves, Busquets. These players will not have a reason to disrespect.
Yeah, I agree with that. That side of things in terms of respect is where I don't think there's a comparison, because I feel like I agree with you. There is a lack of respect for Potter in many ways, it seems, within the walls of the club. And I do worry about Nagelsmann. I know Bubba kind of doesn't really feel the age is a factor, but I do feel like Nagelsmann has bust potential in terms of being lack of respect. Like, I think I could see the players trying to walk all over him. And it was said that his sacking at Bayern, the senior players kind of were the ones to kind of turn first. And I would worry. I'm not saying that he's not a good manager, he's not a good tactician. I think he clearly is, right? He's broken records, semi-finals with Leipzig, Hoffenheim, getting them out of a relegation zone into Europe. Like, he's done incredible things at a very young age. But I do think the respect side of things and the actually deploying what you're asking. And also I do worry about the constant changing of formations and systems as well. I think maybe because we've just come from Potter, I'm leaning towards more stability and more of a plan instead of just going from one selection to the next. But I mean, I don't know, Younes, what do you feel, bro?
Just before Younes, just quickly, one thing just on Nagelsmann that Matisse you touched on, and then Younes, you have to go. People tend to forget, and once again, I want to give you guys a real life situation so that you can feel. Nagelsmann 2 weeks ago got brutally and ruthlessly sacked. We still don't know exactly why, but he got sacked. Mentally, that should affect him. Like any of us, like I'm pretty sure Younes, because obviously Matisse does YouTube full time, right? But and Baba as well. But Younes works on the side, I work as well. If we one day rocked up to work and our manager just put us on the side and said, just don't show up tomorrow, you're done, see you later. That would affect me. for a little while. That would really affect me for a little. Like, where did that come from? Why am I getting sacked? What for? Like, I've killed it. I've got flawless, record in the Champions League. I'm only a point behind Dortmund. What's this all about? And then immediately after, Thomas Tuchel is hired straight away, and you're forgotten. I'm a bit concerned. This brother have a little bit of a break, and now you want to come to Chelsea Football Club, 11th in the Premier League. The pressure is on. The owners are interfering non-stop. You want to come to Chelsea Football Club and mingle with us, the fan base. Are you mentally okay for the time being? I'm worried about your well-being. You just got brutally sacked, and now you want to take up another job that has the potential of being brutally sacked as well. So there's that factor that I want people to worry about with Nagelsmann. Mentally, he's in the right space.
Yeah, I think mentally, I think on the flip side to that, if you do lose your job, especially in a job like that, where I think not for Nagelsmann, Bayern Munich was the job.
It was
for where he was at that time.
He's a fan.
So there is that. Although I think the best scenario for to happen, if you do lose your job at a place where, and albeit we don't know what happened, things might have broken down there, something could have gone down, who knows, right? But if you get offered a big job immediately after and you're given a chance to just forget what had happened and start moving instead of dwelling, it could be something to revitalize you. So there is that. But with Luis Enrique, as I've said, like, I haven't got doubts in terms of his coaching ability, what he can bring in terms of a system. We know he's very specific. We know he focuses on both the physical and the mental sides of the game. It's definitely a point to appreciate the egos that he dealt with in that Barca team. That is on the flip side of the worry that I had in terms of, okay, he's just done it with them. But in order to manage them is testament, because when you look at the other managers that have gone to like a PSG, for example, and have to deal with egos or it's not been it. So that is definitely a point. Is Luis Enrique disciplined in terms of portraying that to the team? Does he have that personality to be able to command at all times, no matter what, and not go soft at any moment given? Because that's the one thing that I'm concerned with. I genuinely do not worry about trying to make these players better. Our squad is a good squad. We've got top players. I think we've got quality. I just think they need to be managed correctly. And I just think that there needs to be both a management style of knowing how to get the best out of them on the pitch in terms of a system, in terms of the football that we're playing. And I agree with what Baba said earlier on. I think we're a very direct team. I think it suits us to be playing direct because we've got that explosiveness, and I think we have that pace. But there's also the other side of being able to show these players that there needs to be a level of discipline that we're not going to just let drop. Does Luis Enrique have that command? That's the one thing that I've not been able to see, and it's difficult to see if you're at a Barcelona with all those star players, for example, because do you really need to do it when the results are going to go your way pretty much week in, week out? That's the one thing that I've not been convinced with Luis Enrique, or maybe I've just not seen it enough. Maybe it's there and I've just not seen it enough. But if you've got any, let's say, evidence or anything to show that he does actually have that, and you can say, he does, absolutely, then I'm actually on board with getting Luis Enrique. Not a problem. That's my one concern with the next manager. He needs to be able to have that. And if he doesn't have that, he shouldn't get the job.
It's tough, man, because like I said, they're two very different managers. The way that they approach the game, the way that they set up. I do believe that Nagelsmann maybe is more suited to what we have currently in terms of maybe getting the ball rolling now. But I also do believe that Nagelsmann's is his tactics kind of, is it something that we can sustainably say, okay, this is what he does and we're going to be able to do it for a long period of time? Or is he going to keep chopping and changing constantly between formations and systems? That is something that really, really does worry me a little bit, because we play a lot of games and we need that consistency. With Enrique, I feel like, although he's the one that's coming for the job right now, I feel like he would make more sense to come in the summer, But it's almost like he seems so desperate for the job, Miz, that he's ready to rock up today in London, have meetings, and now we have a couple of comments coming out now in the talks with Enrique. He's explained he has a high intensity and high pressing approach that supports young players the club has signed. So Enrique sold a clear vision to Chelsea's team and hierarchy interested in his tactics. The concern was always going to be whoever comes in, are they going to take on the signings that we've just made in January?
See, my only thing is, whoever the manager is, please give him a 18-month contract. Don't give him that 4 or 5 years contract. Max 2 years.
100%, man. 100%. Yeah.
Because we don't want to get stuck if things don't work out. Really, because I'm really afraid if owners get really sold on his project, they might throw in another 5-year contract, and then it gets us in all sorts, because Enrique has had that history of, falling out with the board, the vision's not aligning and all of that. And see, and what I want is the manager to be appointed right now, just because if he's here, he can approach the summer transfer window better, because then he'll know that who players he needs to have in the squad, who are the players that he needs to kick out, needs to be sold, needs to be moved on. And if the players who are coming back from loan, then he gets enough time to work with them also. So right now he'll have a better understanding of who are the players that he really needs to keep and who are the players that he really needs to get rid of. Because see, if Luis Enrique is to become our manager, I think Mason Mount will be a very crucial player in that system.
I think so as well. I really do, actually. He will be one of the 8s.
Yeah. So if he comes in summer and Mason Mount has already agreed a deal with Liverpool, then he'll say, get me a player like Mount again. And what we'll do?
Look, a couple of things, honestly. I think, Baba, you're bang on. Whoever the manager is next up, whether it's Nagelsmann, whether it's Enrique, I think no more than 18 months or 2 years, whatever the case is, to start off with, and then a year option. But I think it should be really based on how you're progressing. If you're doing well, you'll get an extension. If you're not doing well, you're going to get the sack. It's as simple as that. People talk about project, process. Look, no project and no process is any good without winning. I don't know why people has this mentality that process means you're going to have to endure 6 months of absolute bottom level football. Look at Unai Emery with Aston Villa. They're cheating then. They're not following the process then, are they? They're cheating. How dare they? How dare they? 7th. God damn it. I mean, when Steven Gerrard had them, they were in the relegation zone and now they're 7th. Clearly, they're not following the process, are they? Process project doesn't mean you're going to have 3 out of 22 record. That ain't no project. That ain't no process. I saw Matisse getting hammered by Grizz in Big Six, where Grizz was continuously saying, but you're going to have to suffer. You're going to have to, Chelsea fans. It's not about suffering. None of us, no Chelsea logical fans ever said we need to win the trophy. We need to win the Premier League today.
Yeah,
tonight. No one said that. But no one asked for 11th either. That's mad. Mm-hmm. That's no process. That is not a project. I think if Graham Potter was still in the top 6, if he was 6th, let's just say for argument's sake, I don't think he gets sacked.
No.
I do not think he gets sacked.
A win percentage of 39% is not...
That's not process.
It's not good enough.
It's not good enough.
There's nothing to buy into with that, unfortunately.
To answer Younes's particular issue that you said in regards to the first sign of issue that happens, can he manage that? Can he be able to, if players get a bit of...
Is he ruthless enough?
Is he ruthless enough? Yeah. And this is a fantastic point.
And the same applies to Nagelsmann, by the way, I'm saying.
And this is what I wanted to say. This isn't just Enrique. This is for every manager.
This is what a Chelsea manager needs to be.
And this is what I want to say about this situation. This is why I said the manager needs to have autonomy. The manager needs to have a lot of power. By power, I don't necessarily mean they go and buy whoever they want. No, not that kind of power either. And by power, I don't mean manager FC either. Like the manager doesn't collaborate. I think in this modern age, you do need to collaborate with the board. You do need to collaborate with the owner. It cannot be one-way street. this is where I feel like someone like Jose Mourinho, as much as I and Younes would love to see him back, one thing about Jose Mourinho, I do not think he's capable of collaborating with an owner or a board, because he has his own ideas and he wants to make sure that they're executed. So modern era managers, they do need to have some sort of collaborative experience and skill set. So in regards to Younes's concern, all I'm going to say is the board will need to support the manager. So the first sign of issues that are arising, and if Enrique or Nagelsmann takes a stance on a particular player or a particular situation, the board and the owner will need to back him. Because if you don't back them, then that's when the house collapses. Because when the players see that the manager is not getting the backing, in many, much like Arteta made some big decisions on certain players, and the owners, I'm pretty sure there would have been at times where they felt, Arteta, are you sure, bro? Are you sure?
I think the Aubameyang one in particular on the what was it, the
All or nothing.
All or nothing. They was like, are you sure about that?
Are you
your
sure about
top
that?
scorer or your best striker? He said yes, I am sure.
And they backed him. So look, there will be times where you have to compromise, but then most times you do need to back. So that's what I'll say about that, Younes, that I get the concern, but it can't just be solved by the manager. The board, the owners will have to back the manager as well. Do you know what I mean?
Do we trust these guys? I mean, we're going to find out. The funny thing is here is that, like Bubba said, they're not really listening to Christopher Vell. Maybe Christopher Vell's a little bit biased because he's worked with Nagelsmann before. Maybe he's not considering Enrique as much as he should, but this is the man you chose to hire. So the longer we go down the road, their decisions become even more on them, right? Because as you go along the down the line of ownership, you're meant to learn lessons, learn from your mistakes, get better as you go along. This managerial situation that they brought on themselves by obviously making the decision to sack Tuchel has gone horribly wrong. It's gone exactly the way I would have hoped it wouldn't go, because it's just so embarrassing to have to sack two managers in the same season. We've never done that before. Under Roman, we've never sacked two managers in the same season. So to have to sack a manager that you gave a 5-year contract, 60 million contract, he's now going to be paid 13 million compensation after 20 million release clause, after picking up his wages while he was here, after hiring his assistant manager and his staff. It is beyond embarrassing. They cannot afford to get it wrong again or keep getting it wrong, because that's when the fans are going to start looking at them. And that's when Ali is going to take her poster and write Bowie out instead of Potter and hang it on the fucking bin. Yeah, it's going to be a long day. The Aussies are going to turn up. Miz will be here next time. Holding up the slide. Yeah. So if you're gonna hire someone, I agree with Bubba. I think you need to be very careful in the amount of years you give on that contract. I know you're a massive fan of the 7-8 year contracts, but not with the managers. Not with the managers. I think you need to calm it down a bit now and be a bit more responsible. I guess what goes in Enrique's favor is the fact that we don't have to pay for him as well. He's a free agent. Nagelsmann will cost a compensation fee from Bayern Munich. They'll have to speak to them on that as well. So that comes into play. Younes is, I'm going to ask Younes and Bubba. Younes first, is Mourinho still your number one target? Even though he's not realistic. Is this still like the guy that you definitely want?
He's the only one that I would stick in the conversation with these guys that are clear favourites and candidates for the job, 100%. Because we need to entertain the choice of being able to get someone in now, which is logically Nagelsmann or Luis Enrique. That's key. If we're going to wait for the summer, then I reckon there is that as the only other option that I would turn to alongside the two guys that are clear favourites. So I'm not saying like, no, absolutely no one but Jose, because that's just not how football works. There are going to be other managers that exist completely. But with the circumstances that we're in, with what this team actually needs, whether it's long term or whether it's short term, I think it builds a foundation for this team to set us up for the future at least. So I would consider Jose as an option if we were to wait till the summer.
And what about you, Bubba? Are you still Simeone in?
I think that was out of desperation at that point of time.
Yo, don't go anywhere.
Yeah, but we've talked about a manager commanding respect, and that is the problem that I identified at that point of time. And I thought Simeone is the guy who rules with an iron fist, and we need a guy like him. And Jose is also the same. I mean, he rules with an iron fist. He takes no nonsense. And yeah, I mean, I would be open to getting him back, but I won't be under this illusion this time that he'll be a dynasty manager or he'll create a legacy. No. I'll be prepared that he'll be here for maximum 3 seasons, maximum 3 seasons, 2 to 3 seasons at max, and then we'll move on again. He'll win us a title in the progress, and that's about it with Jose 3.0, I believe.
You think he'd win a title?
Yeah,
I don't think
no. What win a title?
I think Jose would win a title, man.
I think we're champions.
A league title. A league
title.
Yeah.
And the season after that, 8th in the league.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
Talking about it's mad. I have to pinpoint this out because we were talking about Graham Potter and going long term and processes and whatnot. To this day, Jose is still our most long term manager.
Yeah.
It's actually insane, and that's 3.5 years. Can you imagine having a manager for 3.5 years at Chelsea now? It's actually nuts.
That's exactly what this ownership dream of right now. Imagine. I mean, I feel like whoever they hire, they if they have to sack them within the 2 years, I think they failed. Is that a fair judgment? That means they must have got something wrong, right? Or if they were to say, because do you guys realistically, right? We're not going to win the league next year. We're not gonna win a major honor next year. Maybe you get a lucky Champions League, a fluky one there. Maybe something comes together. But you're not going to win a league next year, in my opinion. You're just not going to do it. So, and the reason why I say that, and I want to make that clear right now that we're not winning it right next season, is because first of all, we're 11th, right? So it would be probably one of the biggest comebacks of all time. But second of all, that preseason, whoever comes now, that preseason is going to be fucking horrendous. Let me just say this now. This preseason is going to be awful. Lukaku's coming back. Hudson-Odoi is coming back. Ampadu, Bakayoko, Baba Rahman, Malang Sarr. We're going to have like 60 players, 55, 60 players. And then Todd Boehly is going to be like, I want to go to San Francisco, and I want to go to Charlotte, and I want to go to Vegas, and I want to go to Texas and Miami. He wants to go on a tour. Yeah, he wants to show his club around America and do the marketing. First of all, that can't happen. We need a camp. We need one location, 2 max. I don't want to see these boys flying around everywhere, going off to different cities in America. We need to take this preseason very seriously, because one of the things that Potter did say that I agreed with, and this never gets spoken about with Tuchel's poor start to the season, our preseason was a shambles. We got slapped up by Arsenal. What was it, 3-0? We went to all these cities, all this traveling, and the players clearly weren't ready for the new season. Obviously, Tuchel made a few errors that I didn't like in terms of, choosing Gallagher to play in a double pivot and all these things. But the players weren't physically ready, it seems. And Potter said that as well. So this preseason needs to be serious. They need to be boot camp. Send these man to Austria or Norway or some shit. Like, put the market into bed, because we actually need to be performing. That's the key here. You want to make money and perform. Teams that perform make a hell of a lot of money. Teams that get into latter stages of competitions and win trophies make a lot of money. You can market as much as you want. Market us in 11th. I dare you. Market us in 11th. The 11th best team in England. Come on, market it. Do it. See how that goes for you. This team needs to be performing next season. And the best way to do that is with a top preseason. It's already going to be poisonous because of the squad. And I don't know how quickly they're going to be able to offload all of these players on high wages. But please, put this team in a proper preseason for once in your life. Please. That's all I ask. That is actually all I ask. I ask for sales and I ask for a proper preseason. Incomings, do whatever you want, whatever positions the managers want. Striker, DM, whatever. But my 2 main concerns is sales and a proper boot camp preseason, like a real preseason. If they can get that done, because I think when you put together a proper preseason, it lets the players know immediately we're serious. You put that in a boot camp type style, the players are like, oh shit, this ain't a joke. Like this is real. Like they really want us to perform this season. We're not going on holiday. We're not going to different cities, touring the world, signing autograph. Like no, like really, this is serious. Should have brought in the mentality monster then. That's when we should have brought him in for preseason. Should have got the Australian mentality monster for preseason. I don't know why we brought him in now. All is lost. So it is what it is. But okay, so let me go to the poll. I went and asked the chat, and we've hit 1,000 votes, so I'm going to end it now. Nagelsmann or Enrique, 45% went with Nagelsmann, and 55% of you went with Enrique. So it's pretty close. Obviously, Enrique is currently in London, so he's a lot closer to the job than maybe Nagelsmann. I don't know. It seems like Nagelsmann's still the favorite according to the media. We're going to come to a close soon, but before we do, thoughts on, I guess, Wolves and what we can do on the weekend. Can we win? Miz, are we going to see the 40 points against Wolves? Are we going to be safe? Because I'm very nervous.
We're 1 point away.
1 point, brother.
So we probably could get a draw. Look, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know what Oba's done wrong. Like, seriously, like, how is this guy not at least starting for us? We need goals, and we have a striker, and we don't want to use him. Who's making that decision? I don't know. Maybe that's the board. Maybe that's the owners. If it's Havertz up front, which probably looks like it will be, we're going to see the same old, aren't we? He's going to fluff his chances.
You'd bring Aubameyang back, even though yesterday he was playing games on Twitch?
Bro, I mean,
during our match,
is he a Chelsea player or not?
He is.
Well,
was he actually?
No, he actually was, bro. I had a higher live concurrent.
He was streaming.
I was quite proud of that. Yeah. I went onto his Twitch stream. He was gaming with some French person. I don't know who he was, right? And they were playing Fortnite. So I was just being like, "Yo, this
Chelsea game.
These men are shooting up people, and we're not able to even shoot at the goal right now. Our best.
And that was yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday during our game, bro. This is what. Okay, so you don't know this. During our game, Aubameyang was playing on Twitch with some gamer on Fortnite, shooting people while we're shooting people in the crowd. Yeah. So I was saying our best finishing forward is playing Twitch right now, right? Playing on Twitch. Now, big up to the support. We had a higher live concurrent than them, so fuck them. You know what I'm saying? We had 2K, they had like 1.3, 1.4. So fuck them. But yeah, that's where it was. And if a new manager comes in, I guess maybe you wipe the slate clean a little bit until the summer. I still think we need to sell him in the summer, get rid of him. But yeah, I don't know. Do you bring him back? Now that you have that information, do you bring him back?
I need goals, bro. You can leave in the summer, but can you do a job for us now, please? If that's okay with you, we were paying you. I know we did the dirty on you as well. We've abolished him. I don't think any of it is Aubameyang's fault. Like, he was a Chelsea player. He was, looking to perform, and then all of a sudden one day we hear the news that he's no longer in the Champions League squad, and we bought 6 different players in January, and he's now no longer in the Premier League squad as well most times. So we've done the dirty on him. We are the ones who brought him in. He's not the one who begged to come to Chelsea Football Club. So now that you're here, you might as well work hard for the money that we're paying. So unless can you imagine
Enrique and Aubameyang on Twitch at the same time? Tactics and gaming.
That would be mad. That would be mad. Look, Oba can leave in the summer. I've got no issues with that. That's fine. I think owners, they've made a mess along with a few other messes. He can go, but for the time being, look, I don't mind seeing Havertz if Sterling does start. I think there was something brewing. Sterling, Havertz, and João Felix. Without having Sterling, it has kind of made us a little bit lackluster up front. People tend to forget how important Sterling is in the whole piece. Yeah. I was once again very, very shocked how Bruno Fernandes didn't bring on Sterling with like 15 minutes to go at least. How he only played 5 minutes. Is he only good enough for 5 minutes? I fully expect Sterling to hopefully play a little bit longer against Wolves. And if that's the case, then fine. Stick in Havertz. Go Havertz, Sterling, and João Felix, and maybe we can do something. Look, I'm not confident. Yeah, that's all I can say. I'm not confident.
Do we even make 5 substitutions? Like, have we made use of 5 substitutions this season in full effect?
No,
like, I don't remember.
I'm sure we have, but yeah, we don't always. And
why don't we use those extra 2 subs if things are not working out for you?
Because bringing on Gallagher at minute 68 is the key, isn't it?
He's 2 players, Baba. He's 2 players, by the way. Gallagher's 2. He runs like 2.
He's basically Kante and Mason Mount in the same player.
That's it. That's it.
You got your goals, you got your work rate, you got it all. You're just trying to give the opposition a chance, Baba. That's what you don't get it. You know what I mean?
Honestly, I don't know what these Bruno Fernandes and Graham Potter see in Conor Gallagher. He must be buzzing in training. He must be like intercepting, defending, pressing, scoring goals.
I actually refuse to believe that his training is even good enough to warrant this amount of responsibility, because technically he can't be doing anything in the training that he's not doing on that pitch when I'm watching him.
I mean, look, at this point, we should disregard whatever happens in training. I mean, because Bruno came out yesterday and said, "Oh, no, the guys, they score loads of goals in training."
It's a lie. This man is a liar. He said that Potter was amazing. He said Potter did an amazing job. This man is a liar. This man is a liar. He said Potter does an amazing job. He said the boys gave everything again. This man is a liar.
He is Harry Potter. I think he is Harry Potter.
Jesus Christ. You've been to a training session. I've been to a training session. These boys cannot shoot.
They can't shoot, bro.
They cannot shoot. If you've never been to a training session, listen, when I went to that training session and I watched these lot shoot, I could not believe how shit they were.
It's tragic, isn't it?
Believe me, what you're watching on this pitch is not a lie. It genuinely happens in training. They cannot shoot.
Do you see?
This is when you're doing layoffs with no pressure, no defenders. We're just doing simple drills that you would do in Sunday League. You pass it to the coach. Coach passes back to you. Take a touch. Shoot. These lot are missing the target. These lot are shooting at the keeper. They cannot shoot. I promise you. Don't look at the clips that they're putting out on social media. The nice clips, because they're not going to put out misses on the Chelsea account on Twitter. They are shooting.
It's true.
Brother, don't get me started on the training, because I'm telling you, if I speak about the way these men shoot, I'll lose my mind.
Do you see behind the goal where there's a few seats? So there's a massive net that goes up 25 feet in the air. I'm not surprised. It's needed, because if that's not there, right? No word of a lie. The amount of times it was getting hit, right? God. If that's not there, the building, I swear to you, is like maybe 25, 30 meters away, but windows are getting smashed. So they've had to put that there, because it's mad. It's actually insane. Their shooting is a joke.
One thing I will not defend is these men shooting in training. They might do everything else in training. I don't know. They might pass it nicely in those little circles. They might do them sprints. They might do whatever they have to do on their set pieces. But when it comes to the shooting, no one ain't gonna tell me that these lot can shoot. Because I've heard it on good authority to people that go to training on a weekly, right? People that work within the club, the presenters, etc. These men can't shoot. Like, they can't. So whatever you're seeing on the pitch, it ain't an accident. It's no surprise to me that under more pressure, when you have to think faster, and there's an actual a goalkeeper who's trying, that they're not putting the ball in the back of the net. It's not a coincidence. I tell you that. It's not a coincidence. So yeah, I just wanted to clear that up, because I ain't gonna have no lies being told by Bruno. This man is just trying to do PR. I don't know what you know what? I feel like he wants a job after. I feel like he definitely wants a job after it's all said and done. Like, he knows he's not going to be the manager, but he definitely wants to be involved with Enrique and, at least or Nagelsmann. And I get it. It's cool. I get it.
And he took it one notch like above what Potter used to do. He said they played with the heart, and you can't ask for more. The boys gave everything.
He went with the heart. He went to the heart. It's very difficult when you go to the heart. Very, very, very emotional. What can you say if the
you can't ask for more? I mean, why these managers don't have the balls to say we are shit in front of the goal and we can do better?
Especially as an interim. Like, as an interim, you should be like, you've got nothing to lose, brother. Like,
he's still employed.
Just say we are pathetic in front of the goal and we need to do better when it comes to a finishing. That's it.
He wants a job after this, bro. He's still employed.
I honestly thought, and Younes, you have a point there. I thought as an interim, you're going to be bold and actually going to chase the game. But instead, he's gone with a 3-5-2. He actually went a little bit more defensive than usual. And I thought maybe some of his substitutions will be bold and attacking and really get at them and try and get the 3 points. And also Matisse might be onto something. Maybe I don't know whether he wants the job at Chelsea. I don't know if
He
whoever
ain't getting the job. He ain't
getting
getting
the
No
job.
way.
He ain't
Whoever
getting
the
the
new manager is, whether it's Nagelsmann,
Bro,
whether
that was
it's
his
Enrique.
first time picking an 11. He ain't getting the job.
Exactly. But I think, however, he is trying to utilize this moment to build up something in his resume so that he can go for an Osasuna. I don't know. Like, to go for a job elsewhere, somewhere. Do you
Hey,
know what I mean?
Osasuna
Osasuna,
just
by
made
the
the
way,
Copa del Rey
beat
final. He ain't
Athletic
getting
I
last
know.
night.
That's why the name came
I said
into mind.
Osasuna.
No disrespect to Osasuna, but you know what I mean. Like, I suppose he's trying to build up something to take it to his next job. Maybe he wants to be a manager.
This is the thing. I can't really judge Bruno too much. Like we've just established that he's not coached in his life. Well, he's not managed in his life. He's not picked an 11 before. Like this is why. Like yesterday's not a shock.
I think he actually did a decent job. To be
fair, to be fair,
considering the circumstances, he
But
actually
what
did a
manager,
decent job.
like what guy comes on his first press conference and says, "I've never picked an 11 in my life." Like
exactly. You shouldn't. Yeah, no matter what, you should not say that, right? But again, this goes back to the point. He doesn't know. He's not been.
Klopp must have been bamboozled when he said that. Klopp must have been like, "Shit, this brother's never picked an 11 in his life. I can't predict what." That was actually tactical from him. He was like, "Yo, I've never picked an 11 in my life. I could do anything." Yeah,
Exactly.
don't try and second guess me, Jurgen. I could do anything. Jurgen just decided to rest players. My goodness, he baited Jurgen into resting players. That's how intelligent this man is. He baited Jurgen Klopp into resting his whole squad to get a point. Out of it, because we could have lost if it was Liverpool's first team. We might have lost, but he said, "You know what? I've never picked an 11 in my life," and then he rested everyone. So smart.
Yeah,
Like, it is completely.
Jurgen said, "You know what? I'm panicking. I don't know what's this guy gonna do. You're in the bench. Wait, let me assess what happens in the match. I'll bring you on later."
Jesus Christ! Imagine.
That's funny, bro.
All right.
But the fact that he's only ever coached under Graham Potter is a concern. So
because that's all he knows.
That's all he knows. No wonder we're going to keep hearing the lads gave everything.
The lads gave everything. Yeah.
Gallagher 68.
And I don't want him to come to Enrique when Enrique is in the middle of a press conference and he's saying they need to fix up, they need to improve, they need to sort themselves out. This is not good enough. And then he just comes and walks in and taps him on the shoulder. He's like, no. The boys gave everything. They gave everything.
in Spanish.
Yeah, they can say it in Spanish. You know what I mean? At least there's that repertoire. All right, well, let's come to a close. Miz, let the people know where to find you, bro. It's been a great show. Pleasure as always. Brilliant.
100%. Fantastic live show. The other side of the coin. The link, I think, is in the description. Check that out. I'm gonna be having a live straight after this, literally in 15 minutes. If you want to pop by, I'll be talking about Kai, I'll be talking about Mason. Obviously, Luis Enrique seems to be one of the big favorites, so we'll talk about that.
Yeah. Younes, bro, let them know where to find you, bro. Pleasure. Brilliant show.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you so much. Younes Talks Football, the usual place. Obviously, we're looking forward now to the weekend and see how this transpires. So, yeah, I'll keep up with the content on there. Also, before we go, it's a good question that I've just seen. Can anyone confirm, does Luis Enrique actually speak English?
100%.
Very
well.
He does, yeah?
Very well.
All right, perfect. Sweet. Nice. Cheers.
Because if he didn't, I mean, that would be like Zidane 2.0 for us, isn't it?
Yeah.
All excited just for him to come into Todd Bowie and be like, me not speak English? You not speak English? Baba, let the people know where to find you. Pleasure as always. Great show.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Drogbaba, same as always. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all the places you'll find me there. And yeah, the boys gave everything.
We certainly did.
We
did. Yeah, we did.
It's been a pleasure to have Bruno on the show. Do you know what I mean? This is what you get on this channel. You get exclusive access to the Chelsea staff. Do you know what I'm saying?
Bruno,
we told him to his face what we thought of him. Do you know what I mean?
Bruno, what formation are you going with against Wolves?
4-4-3.
Come on.
I think we need that extra man. No. Bruno is playing Kepa in midfield. No keepers.
Jesus Christ. Man said a 4-4-3. Jesus. Can you imagine if Emery comes into the interview to explain his tactics to Bowie and he's like, what do you mean a 4-3-3? That's 4-4-3? We're not hiring this guy. He's fucking missing a man. He's missing a whole player. He doesn't even know how many players play on that pitch. He's not included the goalkeeper. I told you guys when Bowie said 4-4-3, he was including the goalkeeper. All this time in football, we've never included the goalkeeper. How goalkeeperist of us, yeah? Todd Bowie came in. He mashed up the UEFA contracts 8 years, 7 years. He found the loophole, and he understood from the get-go that we've been counting the wrong players this whole time. So shout out to Todd Bowie, right? And Enrique, make sure that you understand it's a 4-4-3. It ain't no 4-3-3, all right? Winter Surfer says nothing sums up Chelsea at the moment more than Bruno's initials on his training top. BS. We need a new manager in now.
That's good.
It's facts. When he said amazing job that Potter did, and I saw BS on his chest, I said, this is hilarious. This is brilliant. Someone needs to meme that shit up, clip it up. Enrique going on Twitch after every game. Man, no one will be able to do a live after games. I'll tell Lawrence, I'll tell Miz, I'll tell Lewis, listen, don't do your lives after games. Don't do any post-match live because everybody will be watching Enrique. The concurrent will be dropping. It will be mad. We won't be able to put out our reviews until after Enrique's done. I'll be up until like 1 o'clock in the morning. Be mad doing them videos. Get Luis Enrique in. If we get the German in, Kai continues to play, and I'm done with him. Get him out ASAP. No more giving him time. He's a yaya player. All right, well, we're gonna wrap up. It's been a great show, plenty of bants, and we'll see you for next week. I'm sure by then we'll have a new manager, or maybe an emergency episode if Todd Bowie decides he wants to be the manager and take over. Who knows? Till then, in a bit, people. Peace.